Right now, someone is lying to you. Maybe it's a colleague who says they've got your back. Maybe it's a friend who swears they're happy for your success. Maybe it's a partner who promises loyalty while keeping one foot out the door. And here's the thing, they're not even doing it consciously. Most people lie to themselves first, then to you. They believe in their own performance. They've convinced themselves the mask is real, but the truth always leaks out. A hand that moves to their neck, mid-sentence. A compliment that comes with tight shoulders. A yes that arrives half a second too late. These aren't accidents. They're confessions in a language most people never learn to speak. 500 years ago, a man named Machiavelli figured this out the hard way. He served powerful families, witnessed brilliant betrayals, watched men smile while sharpening knives. Then those same families tortured him and left him with nothing. Sitting in exile with his life destroyed, Machiavelli made a decision. He'd stop trusting what people said and start documenting what they actually did. He'd decode the invisible language of power, manipulation, and human nature. The result was The Prince, a book so unflinchingly honest that it terrified people then and still makes them uncomfortable now. Machiavelli discovered that humans operate on two levels. There's the surface, the words, the smiles, the promises. Then there's the truth, the micro-movements, the contradictions, the things people reveal when they think nobody's watching. He wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Most people only see the surface. That's why they get blindsided. That's why they trust the wrong people, miss obvious red flags, and end up asking, 'How did I not see this coming?'" You're about to learn 14 techniques that change that permanently. These aren't guesses or instincts. They're psychological tactics Machiavelli would recognize, methods to read character, decode motives, and spot hidden agendas before someone even finishes their first sentence. They work in business, relationships, negotiations, anywhere humans interact and hide their true intentions. You'll discover how to use silence as a weapon that makes people confess without realizing it. How to identify deception through patterns, not nervousness. How to test loyalty in ways people can't fake. How to see what someone wants before they've said a word. Hit that like button now. Comment 3 words, "I see everything." Share this with someone tired of being played. And watch every second. These 14 tactics connect into a complete system. Skip one, you'll miss how they lock together. Machiavelli learned this in Blood and Exile. The people who see clearly control everything. Let's give you that vision. Number 1. The silence weapon. Most people think conversations are about what you say. Machiavelli knew better. Real power sits in the pauses between words. Here's the technique. Someone answers your question. Your instinct screams to respond. Keep things moving. Fill the empty space. Ignore that instinct. Hold eye contact. Stay quiet. Count 3 slow seconds in your head. That silence becomes pressure. And pressure reveals the truth. Watch what happens. The nervous person starts over-explaining, adding details that contradict what they just said. The liar adjusts their story, trying to sound more convincing while actually making it worse. The guilty person gets defensive immediately. What? Or why are you staring? Flipping the pressure back on you. But someone telling the truth, they just wait. No panic, no scrambling. They have nothing to defend. Machiavelli said everyone sees your appearance, but few know your reality. Silence strips the appearance away. It creates a vacuum that truth rushes to fill. Try this in negotiations. When someone makes an offer, don't respond. Let it sit there. Watch them squirm. They'll often sweeten the deal just to escape the discomfort. In personal conversations, silence exposes resentments and insecurities buried under small talk. Start small. When someone finishes speaking, resist the urge to jump in. Count 1, 2, 3, while keeping calm eye contact. Create space. See what fills it. Number 2, the assumption trap. Machiavelli believed action beats hesitation. That principle transforms how you extract truth from people. Stop asking questions. Start making statements like you already know everything. Watch how they react. Questions trigger defenses. People hear a question and their brain pulls up rehearsed answers, careful responses. But statements slide past those defenses. When you present something as fact, people instinctively react, either confirming it or correcting it to protect their credibility. Say you think someone's lying about where they were yesterday. Don't ask, "Where were you?" That invites their prepared story. Instead, state it with confidence. "So you were at Rachel's place yesterday. So you were at Rachel's place yesterday." Now watch closely. If they were actually at Rachel's, they'll confirm without hesitation. "Yeah, exactly." Simple. But if they weren't, a liar will partially agree while adding corrections. "Well, not Rachel's exactly, but I was near there." They're trying to align with your statement while protecting their lie. An honest person corrects you immediately and firmly. "No, I was at Tom's." "Why'd you think Rachel's?" Machiavelli knew people are predictable when caught off guard. We want to seem consistent and informed. When you present information as fact, there's pressure to either confirm it or set the record straight. Use this everywhere. Instead of asking, "Did you send the email?" say, "I saw you sent that email." Their response reveals not just the truth, but how they handle being tested. Number 3, breaking their script. We're creatures of pattern. Conversations follow rhythms we don't even notice. Social scripts we've practiced thousands of times. Machiavelli understood that shattering those patterns reveals authentic character instantly. When you break the expected flow, masks fall, and you see what's underneath. Here's why it works. Our brains love efficiency. Patterns save energy. When a pattern breaks suddenly, there's momentary confusion. In that confusion, the performance collapses and genuine reactions surface. Try this. You're having a friendly conversation. Everything's smooth, pleasant. Then suddenly you stop smiling. Your tone shifts seriously. You say something unexpected. "What do you really want?" Or, "Why are you actually here?" Watch the reaction. A genuine person handles the shift smoothly, maybe surprised, but they answer directly because they're hiding nothing. A manipulative person stumbles badly. Nervous laugh. Defensive body language. Deflection with questions. They were operating from a script, and you just destroyed it. Another variation. Mirror someone's energy for several minutes. Match their rhythm perfectly. Then suddenly withdraw completely. Go quiet. Pull back your engagement. If they were mirroring you for manipulation, they'll overcompensate. getting overly animated or withdrawn in ways that feel unnatural. If they were authentic, they'll adjust normally without dramatic shifts. Machiavelli said, "Be a fox to see traps, and a lion to frighten wolves." Pattern breaks are the fox move. You're testing whether the structure holds under pressure. Number 4. Strategic vulnerability. Machiavelli wrote that people fall for things that seem beneficial but actually harm them. This technique weaponizes that insight. You share something that appears vulnerable, calculated strategic vulnerability, then measure exactly how they handle it. Their response maps their character perfectly. Here's the play. Share something that seems personal, but is deliberately chosen. Nothing genuinely damaging, but enough to create an apparent opening. Then observe. Do they reciprocate authentically? Use it against you later. Spread it as gossip. Example. Tell a coworker, "I've been working on my confidence with presentations. It's something I'm actively improving." Sounds personal and vulnerable. Now watch over the coming weeks. A trustworthy person offers genuine support, maybe shares their own struggle. Real connection forms. An opportunist files it away mentally, deploying it strategically when they need to undermine you, bringing up your confidence issues when promotions are discussed. A gossip spreads through your network within days, probably embellished. This is strategic vulnerability, not weakness. You're setting a trap with bait that feels personal, but costs nothing if exploited. Machiavelli said, "Be a fox to find snares, and a lion to scare wolves." This is the fox's snare. It catches predators. Watch timing, too. If someone immediately reciprocates with matching vulnerability, that might be manipulation, mirroring to manufacture false intimacy. Authentic connection unfolds gradually. Real people reciprocate later, when it feels natural for them. Number 5. The pattern catalog. Machiavelli observed that how people actually live differs drastically from how they say they should live. Actions rarely match stated values. Your advantage lies in cataloging those gaps systematically. This requires patience. Every time someone claims something about themselves, their principles, capabilities, what they stand for, file it mentally. Build a catalog. Then watch their actual behavior over time with detachment. The inconsistencies create a map of who they really are under the stories. Watch for patterns. Someone constantly discusses loyalty but never defends colleagues when criticized behind their backs. Note it. They claim honesty matters most, but regularly exaggerate stories. Another data point. They project confidence but constantly need external validation. The pattern crystallizes. Most people aren't consciously lying about themselves. They hold contradictory self-images and emphasize whatever serves the moment. Your job isn't confronting every inconsistency. That's tactically stupid. Your job is building an accurate model of who they actually are beneath their narrative. Machiavelli warned that promises made belong to the past, but promises broken belong to the present. People rationalize breaking their principles constantly. Don't be shocked. Expect it and document it. This becomes devastatingly effective over months. Someone might maintain a facade for one conversation, but nobody maintains consistency across dozens of interactions over time. The mask always slips, not through one dramatic reveal, but through accumulated contradictions forming an undeniable pattern. Keep your catalog private. Never announce what you've noticed. Simply adjust strategy based on who they've proven to be, not who they claim to be. Number 6. The projection test. Machiavelli understood something dark about human nature. Guilty people project their sins onto others. This technique exploits that ruthlessly. Make a subtle accusation and watch the reaction. It reveals not just guilt about that specific thing, but what they're actually hiding. People concealing something live in constant low-level anxiety about getting caught. When you make an accusation, even unrelated, their guilty conscience treats it as a threat. They assume you know more than you do, and often expose themselves, trying to manage what they think you've discovered. Here's the execution. You suspect someone's undermining you, but aren't certain. Don't accuse them directly. Instead, casually mention, "It's interesting how some people aren't as straightforward as they pretend." You start noticing patterns. Then stop talking and observe. An innocent person agrees generally or asks what you mean. They've got no reason to feel targeted. But is someone guilty? They get immediately defensive. "What are you implying?" Or, "Are you talking about me?" They just revealed themselves without you making any direct accusation. Their conscience did your work. Another variation. Mention you heard something interesting without specifying what. A guilty person will probe, trying to figure out what you know. Every question they ask reveals what they're afraid you've discovered. In relationships, try something vague. "I've been thinking about trust lately." Someone with a clear conscience engages philosophically. Someone hiding something gets anxious immediately, asking what prompted that thought. Number 7. The information tracker. Machiavelli mastered information warfare. He knew tracking how information flows reveals loyalty and exposes hidden alliances. This technique is surgical. Deliberately relay specific false information to different people. Then track where it surfaces. It maps the invisible network around you. Here's how it works. Tell 3 different people 3 different versions of the same story. Each version contains a unique, identifying detail. Then wait. When you hear your story repeated, those specific details tell you exactly who leaked and to whom. Practical example. You suspect information leaks in your team. You tell person A you're considering the Phoenix Initiative next quarter. You tell person B you're looking at the Atlas project the next quarter. You tell person C you're evaluating the Orion proposal next quarter. Similar conversations, each with a unique identifier. Within weeks, when someone mentions one specific name, you've identified your leak with certainty. This extends Machiavelli's principle that a prince controls when counsel is given, not when others demand it. You control information flow, who knows what and when. You're not just protecting secrets, you're mapping loyalty and betrayal. This works devastatingly in personal relationships. Do you suspect a friend shares your private conversations? Tell them something unique, but non-damaging. If it circles back through other people, you've confirmed their trustworthiness without confrontation. The beauty is precision. You're not guessing, you're tracking. And tracking always reveals the path. Number 8. The hypothetical mirror. Machiavelli knew people guard their true opinions carefully in direct conversation but reveal themselves completely discussing hypotheticals. This technique uses fictional scenarios to extract authentic values and intentions without triggering defensive responses. People speak freely about someone else's situation, never realizing they're exposing their own psychology. The mechanism is elegant. Ask someone's direct opinion on something sensitive. They calculate their answer based on what makes them look good or what's socially acceptable. Frame the same question as a hypothetical about a third party. Their guard drops. They're just discussing theory, so they reveal their authentic perspective. Here's deployment. You want to know if a potential partner would betray you under financial pressure. Don't ask, would you prioritize money over loyalty? That's too direct. They'll give the right answer. Instead, present a hypothetical. Say someone's offered a deal that makes them wealthy, but requires cutting out their current partner. What should they do? Listen carefully. Not just their answer, but their reasoning. Do they immediately talk about loyalty and obligations? Or do they rationalize why taking the deal makes practical sense? Their answer to this theoretical question reveals exactly what they'd do in that situation. Machiavelli wrote that the ends justify the means. Many people believe this privately, but would never admit it directly. The hypothetical bypasses that filter completely. Use this to extract authentic opinions on ethics, loyalty, ambition, anything people normally hide behind socially acceptable answers. Number 9. The calculated error. Machiavelli understood that appearing flawless creates distance, but strategic imperfection creates opportunity. This technique involves making deliberate, controlled mistakes to test whether people will correct you honestly. Exploit your error for advantage, or stay silent, watching you fail. Their response reveals their true relationship to you. The psychology is deep. When you appear perfectly competent, people have no chance to demonstrate their character through how they handle your vulnerabilities. But expose a calculated weakness. You create a choice point. Each person reveals themselves through the choice they make. Here's the tactic. You're discussing a project and deliberately misstate a figure or fact. Nothing catastrophic, but noticeably wrong to anyone paying attention. Then observe who responds and how. The genuine ally corrects you immediately, often diplomatically. I think that number's different. Let me double check. They want you to succeed. The opportunist stays silent, filing your mistake away as ammunition to deploy later when it maximizes damage to your credibility. The saboteur might even enthusiastically agree with your wrong information, hoping you'll proceed on false data and fail spectacularly. Machiavelli said it's better to be feared than loved when you can't be both. I'll add, it's better to know who would push you than to walk near edges with strangers. In relationships, share a minor vulnerability or make a small error. Do they support you or store it to use against you during arguments? That tells you everything. Number 10. The messenger technique. Machiavelli brilliantly used intermediaries and indirect communication to test loyalty and extract truth without exposing himself. This technique involves attributing opinions or information to a third party. then observing responses when people believe you're merely a messenger rather than the source. The leverage is substantial. When you ask a question directly, people filter their response based on their relationship with you or what they think you want to hear. Attribute the same question to someone else. They respond more authentically because they're not managing their image with you. They're revealing their true opinion about the third party. Here's the execution. You want to know what someone really thinks about a colleague named David. Don't ask, "What do you think of David?" They'll give you a diplomatic, measured response. Instead say, "David mentioned he thinks there might be concerns about the project direction. Have you heard anything?" Notice what you've done. You've attributed a vague statement to David without actually claiming he said it. Now watch their response. Do they immediately criticize David? They've been suppressing negative opinions. Do they defend him? That shows genuine loyalty. Do they probe for more information about what David supposedly said? They're gathering intelligence, possibly to use against him. Machiavelli wrote that everyone sees your appearance, but few know your reality. The messenger technique exploits this by making you appear neutral rather than interested. Use this to extract authentic opinions on anyone, colleagues, competitors, mutual friends, without revealing your hand. Number 11. The waiting game. Machiavelli knew that time reveals truth more effectively than interrogation. This technique involves deliberately delaying your response to requests or proposals, not from indecision, but as a strategy to observe how people behave while waiting. Desperation, manipulation, and authentic intention all surface during that waiting period. When people want something from you and you don't respond immediately, they enter uncertainty. In that space, their true character emerges. The patient, confident person waits respectfully. The desperate person follows up repeatedly, often revealing why they're actually desperate. The manipulator tries different angles, showing you their full toolkit. Someone makes a request. Instead of answering immediately, say, "Let me think about that and get back to you." Then observe the next 72 hours. The authentic person waits without pressure. The anxious person sends multiple follow-ups, adding information they forgot. These additions usually reveal real stakes or hidden motivations. The manipulator shifts tactics entirely, from friendly to urgent to guilt. Number 12. The praise reaction. Machiavelli knew how people handle praise reveals more than how they handle criticism. This technique involves offering specific, genuine praise, then observing whether they accept it gracefully, deflect to others, weaponize it for status, or become uncomfortable. Each response maps their core psychology. Praise creates vulnerability. The recipient must choose how to handle positive attention. That choice reveals their security level and relationship to power. You're evaluating someone as a potential partner. Offer authentic praise in front of others. That analysis was exceptionally thorough. You identified patterns most people miss. Now observe. The secure person accepts simply, "Thank you, I appreciate that." The insecure person deflects excessively. "Oh, it was nothing. Anyone could do it." This reveals discomfort with visibility. They may unconsciously sabotage success. The competitive person elevates themselves further. Yes, and I also noticed these other things. They're turning your praise into status competition. Most are revealing, someone who immediately redirects praise toward you. This indicates either genuine humility or strategic flattery, mirroring to create obligation. Number 13. The loyalty ladder. Machiavelli advised testing loyalty through gradually increasing levels of trust and responsibility. This technique creates escalating situations requiring increasing loyalty, watching precisely where each person's commitment reaches its limit. Everyone claims loyalty when it costs nothing. True loyalty reveals itself only under pressure. By creating a ladder of increasingly demanding situations, you map exactly how far commitment extends before self-interest takes over. Here's systematic execution. First level, ask someone to cover for you in a minor situation, saying you were busy when you stepped out briefly. Do they do it without hesitation? That's your baseline. Second level, ask them to support your position where there's social pressure to disagree. Most people favor one direction, but you need them to back your alternative view publicly. Do they hold firm or cave to group pressure? Third level, share information that would give them social currency if spread. Insider knowledge that would make them look connected. Do they keep it confidential or trade it for status? Each level requires more. Each reveal where loyalty boundaries exist. Most pass level 1. Fewer pass level 2. Very few pass level 3 and beyond. You're not testing to be cruel. You're gathering intelligence about who deserves deep trust versus surface engagement. Machiavelli knew that friendships obtained by payments dissolve when circumstances change. The loyalty ladder identifies who's with you from genuine connection versus current convenience. Number 14. The strategic absence. Machiavelli understood that absence reveals dependency and true valuation more accurately than presence. This final technique involves strategically withdrawing your attention, energy, or availability, then observing who pursues you, who replaces you instantly, and who doesn't notice at all. The response reveals exactly what you mean to them beneath the performance. When you're constantly available, people cannot accurately value you because they've never experienced your absence. Withdraw deliberately, and you create a vacuum. How people respond reveals their authentic relationship to you. You've been consistently available to someone, responding quickly, showing up reliably, providing attention. Then deliberately pull back. Don't announce it. Just become less available. Response times increase. You're mysteriously busy, not cold, just noticeably less present. Now observe. Someone who genuinely values you notices quickly and reaches out with concern. Someone using you immediately finds a replacement. They barely notice you're gone because you are functionally replaceable. The manipulator escalates contact, cycling through influence tactics because they're losing access to something they were exploiting. You now possess 14 techniques most people will never understand. These aren't tricks or social hacks. These are surgical instruments for dissecting human nature, forged from Machiavellian wisdom that survived 5 centuries because it reflects unchanging truths about how people actually operate beneath their masks. Machiavelli wrote, "The prince in exile, with nothing left but observation and brutal honesty." He could have written comfortable lies about how people should behave. Instead, he wrote an uncomfortable truth about how they actually behave. That's why his work endures. That's why these techniques work. Here's what separates you now from 35 minutes ago. You see the architecture. You understand every conversation is a negotiation. Every interaction contains hidden information, and every person broadcasts their true nature constantly through signals they cannot fully control. But knowledge without application is just philosophy. These 14 techniques require practice. Start with low-stakes situations. Use the silence weapon in casual conversations. Deploy assumption traps when consequences are minimal. Build your pattern catalog with people who don't control your future. Master each technique individually before combining them. Machiavelli also understood these tools are morally neutral. A scalpel performs surgery or commits violence. The tool itself is neither good nor evil. Use these techniques to protect yourself from manipulation. Identify genuine allies in a world of performers. Navigate complex dynamics with clarity. Don't use them to harm innocent people or manipulate for cruelty's sake. The world divides into two groups, those who see clearly and those who are seen clearly. You just crossed that line. Hit that like button one final time. Comment, "I am awake now," to cement this commitment. Share this with someone navigating deception. Remember, everyone reveals themselves constantly. Your only job is paying attention. Go forth. See everything